Is Matthew 11, verses 28 through 29. Come to me, all you that are weary and are carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For the word of God in Scripture, for the word of God among us, for the word of God within us, thanks be to God. My sermon today is called Come Rest. It's a little different than normal. None of these scriptures are actually in the UCC guide. So, come to me, all you who are heavy burden, and I will give you rest. Jesus and God are always waiting for us. They're always there. Even when we turn our backs and go the other direction, when we turn back around, they're there with open arms, waiting to give us back love and forgiveness. Now, first I'm going to explain a little background for this. I'm in no way comparing myself to God or Jesus. But as most of you, because there's nobody new here, most of you know, Danny and I foster puppies and kittens that have been abandoned on sides of roads, in fields, to be eaten by coyotes, to fend for themselves at very young ages. They come to us afraid, starving, not having any idea what love is like. And I help with some of the rescues with these tiny puppies or kittens. And when they come to our house has become the house for the wayward animals. The ones that are frightened the most or need extra love or are sick, they send them to my house. Because supposedly my house and I have a gift, and these puppies are very well when they leave. We give them love, food, and a little bit of guidance on how they need to be a house dog. How they need to become a pet that's going to have a home forever. A family member. And to me, that sounds like what God does for us. We turn away and we run and just do whatever. And when we hit rock bottom, we turn around to God and say, please help me. And he waits for us with arms wide open, forgiveness on his tongue, and love in his heart and compassion. He gives us love, feeds our spirit, and even gives us direction and guidance so that we can follow the ways of the path and stay on that path to help others through whatever we have been through. The scripture I chose about coming to Jesus and he will give us rest, I thought was perfect. For Jesus offers us rest when we are heavy burdened. Heavy burden can mean a lot of things. Heavy burden can mean that we just have a lot of troubles going on in our life. Or heavy burdens can mean sorrow because we have lost someone we love. Also, as some of you know, on November 7th, we had to put our little foster fail kitten, and I call him foster fail because he was supposed to stay with us and move on. And technically, he did. He stayed with us and moved to a forever home. He was born very sick. He was born in a hoarder's house who had many cats and didn't take care of them. So he had a very rough start in life. He was kind of damaged when we got him. We brought out the love and the non-fear in him. He had food supply at any point, cuddles and love and hugs, and Mao to jump on, and Scooby's tail to tag. He even hung from our crate like we do this at the books. It's still very hard for me to think about him. I'm trying very hard not to cry right now. We only knew him for about 2 months. But the amount of love and joy that he brought to us amount of love and joy I pray we brought to him in those 2 months has to be God-given. I don't know many people that would take a sick kitten and want to keep it until it was ready to go home. On the 7th, we gave him the greatest act of love we could possibly do, because we let him go. Pet owners refer to going to heaven as crossing a rainbow bridge. And at the end of that rainbow bridge, they wait for us to come home so that they can see us again. I believe that God was also there waiting for him as he came home to show him love and kindness. And he is running free in heaven and chasing things and can breathe and has no issues because his little body was made whole. As is ours when our time comes and we cross, our bodies are made whole. Sickness is gone, pain is gone. There's actually a meme on Facebook that has a guy showing up at the gate with St. Peter, and St. Peter says, "Oh, you must be the Billy I've heard so much about." At St. Peter's side is this guy's dog who has been waiting for him for years, wagging his tail, very happy to see his owner. And I believe that our pets, as well as our human loved ones that wait for us, are there. And that when our time comes, they're there to make it easier for us. Because we have a face we can recognize. Or a meow, or a bark, or a purr. Jesus beckons our broken hearts and offers us rest or peace, knowing that there's no longer sickness, and our kitten is no longer in pain. He also beckons our hearts when we've lost a human loved one, by allowing us to rest in his love and comfort us and let us know that it's okay. Things are better now for that person. And I've had people tell me that animals don't go to heaven, and I just don't believe that. I believe they're all there waiting for us. And I believe that our little Poe is there climbing Jesus' robes and just being crazy. That's what I believe. Waiting for Scooby and Bow and Danny and I when it's time.
Swinging on the pearly gates.
Huh?
Swinging on the pearly gates.
Swinging on the pearly gates, climbing them, having a good time, trying to chase angel wings and feathers and, everything our minds can conjure and imagine that heaven would be like. I was also told that ministry can come in many different shapes, sizes, and ways. And that because I'm no longer in seminary, that people will try to cut me down and go, "Oh, you failed at being a minister, so you're going to fail at everything in life." Now, I don't know anybody that's done that to me yet. But I've also started vet tech classes because several people have told me that I have a gift with animals. And I believe also that that is a calling that God sends to me, that he put on my heart. I still believe that ministering to people is part of my walk. But I also believe that helping these neglected animals is also part of that walk. Because not only do I minister through, the love I give those puppies and whatever, they in turn minister to their new owners through the love that I have sent to them, that they give to their new owners. I've had a couple of owners say, "You did such an awesome job with this guy. He is amazing." I don't think I've always done an awesome job. Some of them go kind of crazy. but we've helped them become whole little puppies. And I think that Jesus and God very much do the same things for us. When we are broken, rejected by the church, hurt by the church, told all of our lives that God doesn't love us because of who we are and who we love, or how we live, or where we live. I think that Jesus, when he says, "Come to me and I will give you rest, and take my yoke, for it's light," he is beckoning us to come to him and rest in his peace, rest in his compassion and love, and know that he loves us regardless of what anybody says. People on this earth don't know what God thinks. I don't know what God thinks. I know that if my life, the way I live it, the person I chose to love and marry, if God didn't want it that way, I don't think that we would have ever met and become more than friends. I believe that that is just the way life would go. You didn't want to marry a minister, but you have one. And he is showing you things too, about love, the prison ministries. If that relationship wasn't ordained by God, he might have been an axe murderer. I just believe that when Jesus beckons us and says, "Come and I will give you rest," that at our most broken, he wants us to turn to him so that he can feed, like I said, feed our spirit, feed our soul, and bring us back to being whole, so that we may be of use to him and to walk the path he wants us to walk, so that we can help others who may be going through similar situations or something very similar to that we can help them. I've had people go, how do you go to church and proclaim to be a Christian if you're living married to a woman and God says that it's wrong? My biggest answer is, show me where God tells me that my life is wrong. I said, there's nowhere in the Bible where Jesus tells me, or God even tells me, that our life is wrong. God sent Jesus here to save the world. Not just certain people in the world, but all of us. And if he wasn't going to take all of us to heaven if we came to him and surrendered our lives to him, there wouldn't be gay people in the world anyway. Because why would he have people that he knows he would never be able to save? God doesn't make mistakes. And that would have been a horrible mistake for him to make all these people and know that only 2/3 of them is going to go to heaven. The rest of them, whatever. That's not the God I know. The God I know beckons everyone to come to him and take rest and refuge. And take that time that you can just heal. That you can take your brokenness and use it to help someone else who's broken. And through helping that other person who's broken, you are in a sense healing yourself. Because you're realizing that God has a use for you. That God still wants you to share his word and proclaim and his testimonies and proclaim that he's real and he's there and he loves us all. This was a sermon I was going to give last week, but it wouldn't have happened. It would have never ended. I take refuge in Jesus and God a lot right now, and I beg the Holy Spirit for peace. I know what we did was the right thing, and it was the right thing for him. But selfishly, I didn't want him to go. But Danny told me the other day, she said, you know, don't be sad, because he's not gone. He's still here. He's in your heart, he's in your memories. He's still here. And it's the same with our loved ones who we have lost. I miss my mother every day, and she's been gone for 30 years. And I think that she is still here. I can still see her. I can still talk to her. I can still feel her. But those are my memories in my heart. And again, I take refuge and comfort in the fact that Jesus opens his arms wide open and says, come. Let me hold you. I won't let you go. Let me hold you while you rest. And that is a very peaceful rest. If you have just ever surrendered and said, you know what? I'm resting in God. I'm resting in Jesus. It is peaceful and quiet, and you wake up. If you fall asleep, you wake up refreshed and renewed and on fire, and you just want to go out and scream at the top of your lungs, my God fixed me. He took me and he rebuilt me because all he asked was come to me. Jesus can't get into our hearts unless we let him. He will stand at the door to your heart and knock. And unless we say, please come in, he doesn't force his way in. So when he says, come to me, he's asking. It's a request. Please come to me and let me help you. And in a way, like I said, I in no way want to compare myself to God and to Jesus, because that's just wrong. And I'm not. I think that right now, my ministry is to help those little puppies that have been, there was like a litter of 9 that was left out in the country, in the middle of coyote country, in the dark, to fend for themselves. They were 7 weeks old. No mom. Some lady went out at 2 a.m., picked them all up, took them to her house, and they just arrived in Connecticut to go to an adoption fair. So I think that right now, God has set me on a path that instead of doing the theology school and considering myself a failure because I couldn't finish it, he has set me on a path that heals my heart, and heals my soul, and heals my mind. And says, you know what? Take how you feel and turn it around and help those small, voiceless animals, defenseless. If I had room, I would be doing it for children. But I don't have room. And I don't know if I have the patience for children anymore. Sometimes I don't have the patience for these puppies. But it's like today I got a message that they're rotating puppies in my house. They're sending the one I have now to a foster that has his sisters, because we have brought him out of his shell and raised him into this cuddling, snuggling little thing that sleeps in bed with us. And they are bringing us, right now he's a little Pac-Man. Now they're bringing us another puppy that needs our love to bring him out and make him a good dog. Stella, I rescued her. I remember washing her in a sink when she was this big. Now she is this big and about 50 pounds. But she is the most awesome dog I have ever been with other than my own. She's funny, she has a sense of humor, she's smart, and all she wants to do is play or cuddle. And that's not what she was when I saved her, but she is now. So I think that God has set me on the path, and unfortunately or fortunately, I have drugged my wife with me. She's not necessarily a dog person, but she has been very good and helpful in all of this. But I think that God has set me on this path to help these animals, because in helping them, it heals me. And in helping them, it will also help me heal from losing hope, which is why I have kittens coming on Monday. So remember, when you are tired and broken and struggling, to listen for Jesus to say, come to me. Let me hold you. Let me give you rest. And I will make you whole.